This is Guys Naming Dudes, where we take a moment to appreciate the players that it seems only the streets remember. And we will be the streets today. We each have a dude ready to go. Anyone want to go first?
I don't mind going first, actually.
Okay.
I'll step up to
Zach.
the plate, if we will, which is fitting.
Oh, whoa.
There we go.
Our first sports pun of the day.
Yeah, it's never too early for a good sports pun. Maybe. But I'm staying in baseball for my guy.
I got that. Gathered that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could have put that together. I will tell you, though, my guy started playing before either of you were born. I was just a wee lad, but I still remember him as a kid. His first year being in the MLB was 1991, but he played all the way.
Dude might have retired before Braden was born.
He might have, now that I think about it. He retired his last season was 2003.
That's the year I was born.
Yes, I was alive.
I feel like this is a guy, again, to me, it's a dude for sure.
Okay. Can you give us some of his accomplishments?
Yeah, he had one. This is very much like he had multiple all-star seasons, but there is one year that he just kind of lit up the league in general, and that was 1995, a season where he won a Silver Slugger award, but also led the American League in RBIs, and I think Cam's already got it. Was the first of his 3 all-star appearances, and he was AL MVP that year.
Come on, that's easy. Come on.
But he's a dude.
He's a dude. He is a dude, and was a great player. But at the time, Braden might not even know who this guy is.
I don't think. Yeah, I feel like maybe I don't need to do this. I need to go a little bit newer for Braden. But to me,
that's all right. That's all right.
To me,
I believe so. This guy did play for the Red Sox, Braden, and is the last player in Red Sox history to wear number 42 because that number was retired league wide in '97. Also played for the Wareham Gatemen, which was the team that I grew up going to. Well, one of the teams I grew up going to, the Cape League, and I was a broadcaster for the Gatemen. Won a championship there, no big deal. Was one of a few Red Sox at the time that went to Seton Hall, and that would be Maurice Vaughn, better known as Mo Vaughn.
That is true.
You ever heard of Mo Vaughn?
No.
Mo Vaughn, if I might step in.
For sure.
Mo Vaughn, in terms of Red Sox annals, as we remember him as, was really Ortiz before Ortiz. He was this big, hulking left-handed hitter, real good slugger, man. Right before steroid era and into the steroid era, wasn't actually a steroid guy that we know of. He was pretty big before that. He was a real good hitter, man. And there was some debate whether he should have won that 95 MVP. I think a lot of people wanted Frank Thomas to win, even though he had won the previous 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, I think Albert Bell. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Albert Bell had a
Bell
great
was
year
second
too.
that year.
Albert Bell had a great year. That's probably who I'm thinking of because they won the pennant too. But Mo Vaughn more or less carried the Red Sox to the division title that year. You look at that roster, it was not a great. This is funny because we were talking about off air, 91 through 94, they were terrible. The sons of butches. And Mo Vaughn was one of the bright spots. They still had Clemens, but he was past his prime and pre-shooting up. So he was, Dan Duquette famously called him the twilight of his career. And then I think it was 98 where he walked in free agency. I think it was the same year that Pedro came in, got a big money deal with the Angels. And
got the cover of a video game. Granted, it was PS1 at the time, but he was the cover athlete of MLB 2000. Him in that Angels uniform.
Hell yeah, that periwinkle
I
Disneyland
think it was
Angels
the white,
uniform.
They did the white stripe with the
And it was either his first month playing for the Angels or his first month playing for the Mets, but I think it was the Angels. He blew out his ankle trying to catch one. It was back before everyone had railings on the dugout.
It's even, to me, it's kind of, I don't want to say
it's probably Oakland.
Funny, but it was his very first game in Anaheim.
Okay, I thought it was
on his very first play.
That sucks. He also,
because then he had injury problems after that.
Crushed someone with the White Sox. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Ventura because that's Nolan Ryan, but a guy came out to rush the mound, and Mo Vaughn just pummeled him. Mo Vaughn was probably, almost 300 pounds. He was huge. Very, very good hitter for his time, man. And then after that, he wasn't the same player. So, That's a good poll, man.
It was Aaron. No, it's
Aaron
not Aaron
Seeley
Seeley.
was pitching.
No, I thought it was. No, that's Aaron Seeley and Albert Bell. I don't know why it pulled up.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, the other things that I did, it's funny you brought up Dan Duquette because it brings up.
So is he in the Red Sox team Hall of Fame? Is that
He is also in the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
Something about this guy being in the team Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I did. So
deserved, man.
Which seems like it fits. It's funny. It does bring up his disputes with Dan Duquette and also Will McDonough. It seems like he had some run-ins with
Will
the
McDonough,
Globe guys.
the great Globe writer.
Yeah. Also, he felt like he was
calling the Stanley Cup final, Braden, in case you want.
An outspoken leader in the clubhouse, and that the front office or general management there for the Red Sox didn't want him around, so that's why he walked. The thing that, and then we talked about. Which is
kind of funny because Mo Vaughn seems by all accounts to be one of the nicest guys. I've known some people who have met him or hung out with him, very nice dude. He'll do. He's done some interviews with baseball YouTubers, very accommodating, super nice. When he comes back to Fenway, that's funny. That's funny that it's we want this guy out of here, because this was a time where the Red Sox were not spending a lot of money, so that might have been part of it. Was Mo Vaughn needed big money? They traded for Pedro. They didn't sign him in free agency. And by the time Nomar needed his first big contract, there was a dispute. So that part kind of checks out.
I'll just end, and then we can move on to whoever wants to go next with this, just because you bring up Nomar. I don't know if it was that 98. It talked about that 98 season. I don't know if that's Nomar's rookie year.
Second year, rookie of the year.
But it talks about the two of them combined for 75. That was a lot of the offense for the Red Sox.
I think he won the batting title that year.
Yeah. But it does say that Mo Vaughn did become eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2009. Obviously, 75% of the vote is necessary, and 5% is necessary to stay on the ballot. He received 1.1%, and then dropped off. So
yeah, I mean, that checks out. He was on his way to a Hall of Fame career for sure. He was on the path of a Frank Thomas, or in later years, like I said, a David Ortiz. I can't tell you how close their games were, Ortiz and Mo Vaughn. They were the same kind of hitter. Ortiz was obviously the best clutch hitter of all time and comes in at a time where the Red Sox can compete for championships. But yeah, Mo Vaughn was freaking awesome, dude. That's a good dude right there. I've got a Mo Vaughn shirt. I'm gonna have to wear it sometime.
You'll have to go watch some YouTube videos, Braden.
This dude crush baseball. There was one.
I think, career homers.
That's incredible considering how much of that back half of his career was taken away. Mm-hmm. There's one actually when he played for the Mets at Shea Stadium that was just like a moonshot. It was up the scoreboard they used to have in right field. It was just a towering home run. He was awesome. Anyway, good poll. That's one of my favorite Red Sox, Mo Vaughn. That's a good one. Funnily enough, my guy is a baseball guy and was in the Red Sox organization at the same time that Mo Vaughn was playing for the big club, but he never quite got there. He was in AAA when he was DFA'd, and then was picked up by Mo Vaughn's Angels. And this guy won a World Series with the Angels. He's an infielder, shortstop, won another World Series in 2006. And
who won 06?
I'll ask you this, Braden, to get you kind of involved here. The 06 Cardinals they won the World Series. They were kind of a Cinderella story, but they did have Albert Pujols. Mm-hmm. They had young Adam Wainwright, young Yadi Molina. They had some good players on that team. But would you believe me if I told you none of those were the World Series MVP? Because my dude was the 2006 World Series MVP. At shortstop, so won 2 World Series MVP, 2-time All-Star. Played from 2001 to 2010.
I'm going to blank on this, but 2001 to 2010? That's not who I thought it was, though.
He is probably the only World Series MVP of this century that has roughly the same build as I do. That helps you. Played at the University of Florida. Went to the College World Series there.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on.
Very doofy-looking guy.
It's not David Eckstein, is it? I don't know why that's in my head.
Oh,
actually, I was thinking Darren Erstad. Oh, is it David Eckstein?
It's David Eckstein.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
I don't know why I was sitting there. Yeah.
Formative memory for me because I was early in my baseball watching days, and there was a cool cover of Sports Illustrated of after they won the World Series, and it's just Eckstein.
See, I had one of
It's
two
not-
DEs
and that would
in
be
my
so
head.
sick if he was like a legendary player, but he's not.
No.
He's just
Well, for the Cardinals, it's funny you bring that up because then I was
Colts
thinking,
hero, man, David
yeah,
Eckstein.
but then like for the Cardinals on in what
Look
13,
up what David Eckstein looks like.
I see him.
Okay.
But you said Angels in the same time, and for some reason I was
Choking up
thinking
the
of
bat,
Darren
dude, like-
Erstead. But like it was also because it was
punter
David
from
Freese for the
Nebraska.
Cardinals the next time they did too. It was always like these-
2011, yeah.
Yeah, they have like a knack for unsung heroes in a way. Which, by the way, I still cannot stand David Freese, and will never be able to get over that.
It's
but,
tough, man. It's tough.
yeah, no, dude, Eckstein is that like that's
Eckstein, man.
that's a baseball guy in a way to me. And what I like,
dirt dog. Yeah.
okay, what I mean like that is like it's a guy that's always around, but he's like it's gritty. He's never like necessarily gonna blow you away of like, oh hey, we got David Eckstein on our team, but it's one of those like we got David Eckstein on our team.
He's
He's the dog. Like
5'6".
Yeah.
Was the shortest player in the MLB when he played. And you know how they say about like comedies, you can't make that anymore
Yeah.
in today's day. I don't know that you can have a David Eckstein, bro.
Jose Altuve.
But Altuve's a much better hitter.
Oh, for sure.
Altuve's
for
a Hall of Famer. Like Eckstein was a good on base guy, good enough average guy. His career average is 280, but I'll bet he, had some seasons close to 300, if not at 300. Was just a very much get on base, good defender kind of player. Wasn't even a stolen base guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't a Gold Glove guy. But a guy you could stick at the bottom of your lineup because he's effective as a guy who'd be at the top of the lineup, if that makes sense. You just don't have singles hitters anymore.
No,
That's what he was.
Like I've always thought that like those are the guys you put there at 8
345
and
on
9 because
base,
you want them to be
like-
on the base. You want somebody on the base pass when your good hitters come up, and he's
Yeah.
perfect for that. He would find a way to get on base.
Yeah, like that was the prototypical either 2-hole guy or 9 hitter if you were on a really good team. He married an actress.
So did we
whom I
both
don't
pick
know.
baseball players that Braden didn't know today?
Yeah.
You don't know David? I don't mean it like that, but I thought he was a little bit newer.
Number
I was-
retired by the Trenton Thunder. That's
Oh.
big. I
Oh,
thought that was a Yankee
who
affiliate.
do you think else has
He
retired?
also played for the. They've got it in his Wikipedia thing here. The AAA for the Anaheim Angels was the Edmonton Trappers.
Ooh. Can't.
AAA, you want to be fairly close, so you can send guys up and down. That is not close. That has to be the farthest away you can get, which is kind of funny because Oakland, their AAA team, is in Midland.
Yeah.
Which it's a little bit
yeah.
different for
Rock
Double
Hounds,
A.
right?
Yeah, like Boston's was in Portland, Maine, which Braden now knows. That's only a couple hours, but David Eckstein played for the Portland Sea Dogs. But that is so far away, dude. Edmonton to Anaheim, that's nuts. Anyway, do you have the other retired numbers for the Trenton Thunder? I do want to hear that.
So David Eckstein's number 2 is number 1 on the list.
Okay.
Number 5 for Nomar. Number
Okay, so
33.
They must have been a Red Sox affiliate. I just didn't know.
Number 33 for Tony Clark. Number 42 for Jackie Robinson, of
Good.
course.
Yeah.
And number 18 for Tony Franklin.
Like, that's such a weird thing to have your number retired by a minor league team, because that's either you're Crash Davis and you played there for years and you weren't good enough to make the pros. Like, Nomar could not have been playing in Trenton that long, more than a season. I mean, he played in the College World Series in '94. He was on he won on the Red Sox in '96, the end of '96, September call-ups. Anyway, Braden, are you still going baseball, or are you?
I'm
No, you
not
said
going
football.
baseball.
Okay,
So
what do you got? Give us some quick hitters. David Eckstein.
my guy is one of 6 players in the NFL history, maybe now 7, to have gone to Laney College,
Oh, okay.
where he was an All-American, an All-State, and All-NorCal. He transferred to Cal
Okay.
Berkeley,
Okay.
where he didn't get a ton. I mean, his senior season, he was just shy of 800 yards
rushing.
rushing.
Okay.
164 receiving yards. That's his senior season. He went undrafted in 2013.
Okay.
The Denver Broncos picked him up.
Okay.
You said you had a personal connection with this?
I do have a personal connection to this guy.
Is it before or after he played?
After he was done playing.
Okay.
The only name I can think of from Cal at that time is Javid Best. But I don't
that
think
is a
that's
solid,
it.
yeah. He
20,
went to the Lions, right?
That sounds right. I don't know.
in 20, 2014, he was a Pro Bowler with the Denver Broncos.
As a running back?
As a running back. He ran for 849 yards, 8 touchdowns.
He was a Pro Bowler with only 800 yards?
And he had 300 yards receiving.
Yeah. 1,100 all-purpose yards. You can.
Yeah,
you can
no,
get to
fair
Pro
enough,
Bowl
fair
on
enough.
that. Trying to think of that era. That was
Hold on.
no Sean Moreno went to Georgia, so that's not him.
No, Ron Dane was a Wisconsin guy.
Well, that
He was probably
was way
in his
earlier, brother.
Well,
brother.
Is it? Oh yeah, it was.
None
Never
of
mind.
those, none of the criteria fit for Ron Dane, Zach.
know,
I
I'm
need
thinking of
to
Broncos
check on you,
running.
brother. What? None of those.
I'm just
none
going
of those
through Broncos
fit.
running
Ron
backs.
Dane,
I wasn't thinking of college.
Wisconsin,
Yeah,
Heisman
yeah.
Trophy.
I know.
New
I'm
York
thinking.
Giants. Like, oh my god.
He was
Probably never
never
got a pass in his life.
he was not the starter, I would say, during his
Phillip
prime. No, that's too
Yeah.
early.
I thought so, but it was worth a shot.
In the 2015 Super Bowl, he had over 100 yards.
So we should know this, man.
Over how much?
Over 100.
Like that's a good game for Super Bowl. That gets you up there towards
Is
MVP,
it Mike
man.
Anderson?
Nope.
Oh, that's
that's the
probably
right
true.
last name.
Oh, C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson,
Yeah.
yes. C.J. Anderson.
That is a forgettable but pretty important player to a
Sneakily,
Super
yeah.
Bowl team. Yeah.
Yeah.
In what year was that he had?
He had a big
Is that the year that
touchdown
they
against the
just
Patriots, I think.
they dismantled the Panthers?
Yeah.
Yes.
With one of the worst quarterback performances ever for a Super Bowl winning team, and it was Peyton Manning, which
Yeah.
I think is just hilarious.
He had just won a 1,000-yard season in 2017, but he only
Yeah.
had 3 touchdowns that year. But the way I know this guy is because he used to train in the offseason guys from my high school.
Oh.
Oh, is he from Houston?
No, he's
I
not.
say he went to JUCO in California.
I would always see
4-year.
C.J. Anderson in like the replies of my
Did
high
he play
school
for the
guy.
Texans?
He never did. He might have signed with them at one point, but he definitely never played for them.
Yeah, I don't remember him.
That'd be really funny if he was like a camp guy and he was like, you know what? I love Houston in the summer.
I
I'm just gonna stay here.
I'd always see
Huh.
him in like Connor Wigman's comment section. He's now a quarterback for A&M. If I want to put that out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, why is C.J. Anderson talking about our best wide receiver?
Connor Wegman got to the cover of
Yeah, Dave Campbell.
Dave Campbell's this year.
But I was looking through CJ's his Wikipedia, and what on his personal life section, it says that he is a longtime fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog video
That's
game
awesome.
series.
That's awesome. That means it definitely came up in interviews. I like when professional athletes are nerds, even though I'm not a Sonic guy, but I love when they're into like comic books or like the Bennett brothers were big into anime, I think.
Yeah.
They wrote a children's book or something. I like that. That's cool.
He also
CJ Anderson, and that's a good dude in that, like, there's kind of levels to this dude thing. He's a good dude in that, like, oh, yeah, nothing remarkable. But, yeah, I remember, like, yeah, I got him as a steal in fantasy one year or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he's a good player. He's fine.
For sure. Real quick, just I don't mean to take away from this, but
Please
just because
do
I
it.
looked it up, you asked about it. What do you think that one season batting 267 with 8 homers and
No.
47 RBIs and 125 games is enough to have your number retired?
No.
Because that was Nomar's season for the Trenton Thunder.
That is remarkable. A remarkably low batting average for Nomar.
125 games.
I didn't know he had like any
581
season
plate
before
appearances.
the Dodgers that he hit under 300.
267 batting average, 8 homers, 47 RBIs, 8 triples. He had as many triples as he did home runs, and 20 doubles. But still, there's a.
I'm going to do at some point. I don't know when or why or how it will come up. But I will do like a 20-minute segment on Nomar. I love Nomar. Anyway, shout out to the Trenton Thunder, who have to be a Yankees affiliate now. I think I'm right.
I think
in
they
that.
are.
That's how I remembered them as. But that's interesting. Anyway, Mo Vaughn wins as the best player. David Eckstein, the coolest accolades. C.J. Anderson wins for most times popped up on Braden's Instagram feed.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. I think they'd probably beat out David Eckstein there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
For sure, Mo Vaughn.
I hope so.
I don't think he's looking at a truck.
Let's get Mo Vaughn on the show. I think we can get Mo Vaughn on the show.
Yeah.
Again, he seems really nice. Anyway, you get in the Instagram comments maybe and find C.J. Anderson. Anyway, that was guys naming dudes.
We are Rogue Media Sports.